How's going, everyone? We've got Malcolm Roberts here at the anti-safe school rally. So Malcolm Roberts, he's having a good crack, and have a look at this. We've got all these Antifa, whatever you call them, losers. There was almost a little scuffle a minute ago, so that was rad. Little Malcolm, wonder if you can hear him. This awesome old lady just had her, someone try to push her because she's got like a picture of Jesus, baby Jesus. So it's pretty rad. Interesting thing to see.
And rights, that's all we want. Freedom, sovereignty, and rights. Now, Donald Trump was not reported as saying that on the ABC. Guess what the ABC said? The ABC said he was laughed at. The fact is that he called them out in the heart of the UN. So let's have a look at the bigger picture. Our country, our freedom. 1975, the UN's Lima Declaration was signed. It was signed by Gough Whitlam from the Labour Party. 1976, it was ratified by the Liberal Party under Fraser. The Lima Agreement is about a new world order, an economic new world order. It was about destroying our civilized country's industry. That's what it was about. 1992, the UN's 21st Century Conference for Global Governance, signed by Paul Keating, a Labour Prime Minister. That is now known as
Jim
UN
Savage,
2021,
the stud.
UN 2030. And guess what? Guess what? It is now mainstream knowledge. Peter Cretland mentioned it on her show 2 weeks ago. 1996, the Kyoto Protocol. And you may not know this, but in 1996, John Howard was Prime Minister, a Liberal, and said, we won't sign the Kyoto Protocol, but we will comply with it. Well, guess what John Howard did to comply with it? He stole farmers' property rights at the hands of the UN. He put in place a renewable energy target, which is destroying our industry and our jobs. He also promised to put in the first carbon emissions trading scheme. 1996, along came Kevin Rudd in 2007 and ratified it. The destruction of our country. 2015, the Paris Agreement. We made an agreement. Sorry, it's not an agreement, really. We made best endeavours. And what is our Prime Minister, Liberal and Labor, doing now? They're wanting to legislate it. Rein it in. So what we've seen is the destruction of our industry. We've seen the huge increases in energy. Now remember this. The thing that drove everything that we can see here in the way of material wealth was created by an ever-decreasing price of electricity. Ever-decreasing price of energy.
Here we go. We got like a little confrontation with the cops and Antifa.
Now,
here's some
in
losers.
the last 10 years under Liberal and Labor,
so this is looking pretty good.
Electricity has more than doubled. This is a
keep an arm's length away from the losers.
We've had our property rights stolen by both Labor and Liberal. Farmers especially, but coastal residents.
Hopefully the coppers just arrest her.
We've had our water rights.
What a legend.
Nothing more fundamental than water and oxygen. Water
and then there's the losers.
People overseas, institutions overseas. And now we're in a drought and farmers can't get water. And then there's the immigration. Immigration. We recently saw a compact that was to be signed by our government with the UN, giving the UN the rights to select the immigrants that come to this country. We have destroyed our sovereignty if we agree to that. That is fundamental. Now you know, many of you already knew it, that's why you're here. The next one, political correctness and free speech. When they talk about safe schools, that's just code word for intimidating and brainwashing kids. We know that, others will be talking about that. We also know that diversity, biodiversity, is just code words for getting control of property rights. They're putting bugs, animals and critters and plants ahead of humans to get your property. The third thing they're doing, Sustainability. What a lovely word. And sustainability in the UN is not sustainable without subsidies. It's not sustainable. What they're doing there is putting in legislation through the back door, attached with funding, that makes sure that if councils and state governments want funding, they have to comply with their dictates. Where do the dictates come from? The United Nations. The United Nations, Maurice Strong, he's dead now, but he said what his aim was to install unelected socialist global governance. And he wanted to deindustrialize Western civilization. So what we've got now is the governance is the core issue. Wendy and the others will be talking about what the impact is on kids. But this is about governance of our country. It's about our sovereignty. One of the things we need to do is get back to our constitution, destroy the federal bureaucracy in the Department of Education, send it back to the states, because it's the federal government that is allowing all these things to come through, including unsafe schools. Now, the core ingredient to all of those things is 2 letters, UN. We must get Australia out of the UN and the UN out of Australia. Our kids are at stake. Our beautiful kids are at stake. Our nation is at stake. So when you listen to the other speakers talking about the details on the Unsafe Schools program, remember what the real agenda is. And it's not safe schools, it's unsafe schools. They're making kids vulnerable. Unsafe starts with the word UN. Unsafe schools. And one final word. One final word. This issue is about control versus freedom. Thank you very much, Sandy.
Thank you, Malcolm. Very, very well tied in. That gives you a picture how the unsafe schools ties in on a global level. To bring it back to a local level, we've got a lady extremely passionate in our community. She's been working hard for the welfare of our children for years. Mrs. Tracy Bell Henslin.
Thank you, Sandy. I just really appreciate the Australian flag flying high. And I really appreciate the rainbow flag, but the rainbow was actually created by God. So, I'm sorry everybody up the back, you're actually imposters, and so you should listen and pay attention what's got to be said. Everyone that's a parent, put their hand up. Okay, where's the parents at the back with the mask on? Are you parents? These are parents that are fighting for their children. These are grandparents fighting for their grandchildren. We are fighting to protect our children from the rubbish that has been brought in by the Labor government from the Education Minister that has been adopted here in Brisbane, Queensland. The safe school stuff is a lie, is a Marxist lie, and is groomed and geared for pedophilia. I encourage you people up the back to please listen to me, because your future children's life is at stake. We're talking about grooming of pedophilia. The only person that should be teaching their children about sex is their parents. It is the parents' right to teach their children about sex education. It is not the preschool teachers. It is not from the Labor government to teach these children. We are here to protect our children. This is our right, and this is what we are fighting for. And I applaud all the parents that has the guts to stand up for their children. I applaud the grandparents that are standing up to protect their children. All children need love. Any child that has confusion or anything that's coming into their heart and mind has to be dealt with the parents, not a principal, not a judge, and definitely not the Labor government. They have no right to do this and take away your authority. I encourage you to stand here and at the next federal election, you think about this when you put the tick in your box.